Hello, welcome to the 27th day of June 2025. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation. This video is an exercise that I do each and every day, a little bit after waking up. Well, I keep saying that, but it's really not. I wake up at 4 a.m. and I do this at 5:30. So I do it at a prescribed time every morning. I do it really basically before or as the sun's coming up. And I do this for a very deliberate reason. This is the time to reflect on the last 24 hours, to prepare to align myself with my values, and to prepare for the coming day. In particular, I'll be looking to go over anything of note that happened since I did this yesterday, where I had an opportunity to improve my life or learn something about the way I'm living my life that can help me to live better, where better is defined as in improved alignment with what's important to me and the values that I maintain and that are written out in my book, Going Alone. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, welcome to new subscribers to the channel. It's good to have you here. And a little disclaimer, this is a personal journal video, so I will be talking mostly about myself. Hope you'll indulge me in that. You're welcome to stay if you like. I don't read comments during while I do this, but I do read comments afterwards and respond to them. Also, I do sometimes talk about subjects that are sensitive to people, like death, so be aware of that. And finally, big thank you to those that watch my videos, that are my members on YouTube and my supporters on Patreon. You really do mean a lot to me. I'm sorry that I haven't been out making adventure videos lately. I've had some good reasons to basically stay home and focus on things, namely the fact that I don't have my Japanese driver's license yet, and I'm trying to limit my driving. That's really just an excuse, though. The main reason I've been staying home is that I'm really still trying to find my way and my place in this new retired life. And it's been harder than I would have imagined. And I think I found the way forward, and I'm focusing on that. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. But just in case I don't make it clear that I'm talking about that, when I get to that point, I'll add a note here that way forward basically means embracing my old life. You know, I'm retired for just a little over 6 months now, and I've learned that retirement freedom, it may not be that freedom doesn't suit me. I don't know. That's a heavy thing to say. Freedom doesn't suit me. It's more than I'm not prepared for it. But yet it's not yet either. I can handle the freedom because I'm choosing that. What I'm doing basically is I'm imposing work back upon myself. I guess I'm getting there sooner than I thought I would. So here we go. So I've learned that just waking up and having an open day ahead of me isn't a good thing for me. I don't do well with that. Even if I outline a few things to do that I enjoy, that's not good either. I need to be, and I think that this need arises from the simple fact that I've lived my whole life this way. I need to be working Monday through Friday, namely. Weekends I can take off. I need to be working Monday through Friday at a job. Now, I don't want to go back to the job that I had before. I didn't enjoy that job. It was slowly killing me. There's a lot of jobs that I don't want to do. Now that's where I can take advantage of the fact of the freedom of retirement. But there's stuff that I do like to do that is fun and interesting and engaging and also feels like work, namely my antique business. So I'm staying home. So circling back to the point about, thank you to my supporters. Sorry I haven't been out in Japan making videos. I've been staying home doing the thing of building my business. And boy, does it satisfy. It satisfies just like work satisfies. Because yeah, work satisfies. Even though work was hard and took a lot out of me, it was very satisfying to be successful at my job. And that's what I'm turning towards. So I went ahead and got that out. I think I've done all my, and I keep notes every day about things. So I've done my greeting, disclaimer, and thank you. So the next thing to do, and I feel like I've already given away the lead. I'm going to talk about the last 24 hours. Now, I haven't been doing this at all lately, but normally this part of the exercise, this video, is where I talk about and I detail. Usually there's 2 or 3 things that happen in every 24 hours where there are instances where life kind of ambushed me. Things didn't go as I expected, and I either responded well, which is worth noting, or I responded poorly, which is also very worth noting, to see if I can tune in and do better, to see if I can find a way to utilize the values of the good life creed to better ends, if I can train myself to be better prepared. I haven't been doing that really at all for weeks now. And the reason is that I'm not exposing myself to anything anymore that really requires that. I'm living this very peaceful, bucolic life here on my little balcony here. And I've been spending the time in the room there with my dog, and just in there working on my business, working hard at it, laboring away, and to good ends. So I don't have anything to report in terms of challenges met and either succumbed to or succeeded. So instead, I'll just simply note that yesterday was another solid day of work. It was day 2 of a solid day of work. I mean, I literally was working from after I'm done talking to the camera here, I'll go up and do radio exercise with the neighbors. Then I'll come down and I'll take the dogs for a walk with my wife. And after that, I'll set to work. And this is my little work table here and my standing desk. And I'll stand here and I'll go in there and I'll work. Come out here. This is the photography venue. And then I do all the work inside. So I have antiques to list. I have to improve, to update, learning about things like how eBay works, how many of the features and functionality on eBay, applying those features, testing them, applying them to my store, etc. So that's what I did yesterday, and so it was interesting to the extent that when I was done yesterday, I was absolutely exhausted. When Yumiko called me down for the delicious dinner that she made, I came downstairs, had it, and I was just wiped out. And I barely made the dog walk, and I was in bed like at 8:30, sometime between 8:30 and 9 p.m. The sun was hardly down. Had a good night's sleep. I feel good. I'm raring to go today. But it was day 2. Today's a Friday. Today I'm going to work like a Friday. That's what I'm going to do. I already skipped to the front, so didn't I? I just explained yesterday, and I just explained today. Now, let's recite my creed. These are the values that I'm striving towards. These are the objectives that I'm striving to achieve. Number 1 is to be always ready to die. I have my affairs in order, my relationships in good standing, and my life's work complete. And they are. Number 2 is to make good and effective use of my time so that I'm not letting my days just slip away. That's probably the main impetus behind really, focusing on this business. It is working on my business is a very good use of time. Sure, there's other things I can do that are good. I can share the message of my book, right? That's a good thing to do. Yeah, and I do that every day through this video. So this exercise is that. So yeah, making good use of my time. It's a very important thing. Number 3 is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's again the purpose of this video, this exercise. 4 is to cultivate good emotional reactions so that I respond well when things go south. Number 5 is to perform good actions relative to my creed. 6 is to recognize my true limits and true opportunities so that I am operating within the scope of my reach and my capabilities. And it's important to note the time that I have remaining. Not just time itself, but the good time that I have remaining. Like, I'm very glad that I retired at age 60, because I know that I still have another 5. I think I have another good, I'm 61 now, at least another 4 years, I think, of good, solid capability. You know, everything is, my body and my mind are both, falling apart quickly now. Even though I get great, I exercise a lot, and I eat well, and I don't drink, very, very little drink, and get, very little stress. Nevertheless, this mortal coil is unwinding fast. So good use of time. Yeah, I can make good use of the next 4 or 5 years, I think. Next is to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. I think that's number 5. I know I got to mix them up, didn't I? Yeah. Number 5 is number 6. Number 5 was to perform good actions relative to my creed. Number 6 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. Number 7 is to, no, I messed it all up. To be always ready to die, to make good and effective use of time, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles, to cultivate good emotional reactions, to perform good actions, that is number 5, to recognize my true limits and true opportunities, that's number 6, there we go, to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, and number 8, to keep my balance. All right, I don't know, I already covered what I'm planning to do today, which is I'm going to do a solid day of work. Although one thing though that I'm struggling a little bit with is I'm really pleased. I had planned, in yesterday's video, I talked about how I have with regard to my antique business. When I set out to be an antique dealer in 2003, yeah, way back then, was that 23 years ago. When I set out to be an antique dealer then, my dream was to be a boutique antique dealer, listing, like this is something in my store, this trivet, listing really interesting little items. That's another item in my store, a little monkey thing holding it up. Really, really interesting little items that were kind of one of a kind that you just couldn't find anywhere, not merchandise. I didn't want to list merchandise. I wanted to keep it as a boutique. And what I discovered when I was an antique dealer the first time around was that couldn't pay the bills. I couldn't keep enough churn going on for that to happen. So I introduced merchandise into the mix, where merchandise was, stuff that was off the shelf of retail stores that I could then provide a reasonable markup for and give access to people who couldn't access it otherwise because they weren't in Japan. The fulfillment. I was performing a fulfillment duty. Now, I saw what was happening at the time. I diluted my boutique store with merchandise. The description I described yesterday was, we have our favorite antique store is in Shimizu, and it's an old Showa era apartment building where the rooms have been converted, the apartments have been converted into an antique store. So far they've got 4 units in the building. They've got their 1.5 units in. 1 unit has been completely redone. It's a very tight little space, but it's chock full of the most fantastic antiques you could possibly imagine. And that was the back first floor room. The front first floor room is half converted. It's going to become a cafe, but the other half is an antique store. Now they're very careful. They're doing a great job. They're maintaining that Showa era feel of the apartment building. So it's very much in character when you walk in. It's like going to Disneyland and you want to buy some Disney merchandise and you walk into the store and it feels like Disney and everything is Disney and it's like you're immersed in Disney. This antique store that we go to, run by a husband and wife and their grown son, it's just so immersive of Japanese antiques. That's what I wanted my store to be. But when the analogy or the description that I used yesterday was, imagine that we go back to that antique store and they realize that they can't really make a good living selling antiques, so they decide that amongst all of those delicious antiques, they're going to start selling potato chips and candy bars. So you're looking through the antique store and there's all these stuff and your mind is coming into this state of mind, and suddenly you're presented with a bag of Doritos or a display of, M&Ms. It drops you out of the experience, right? I mean, it takes you away from that experience in the moment. I don't want to do that. I didn't want to do that in 2000. It was about 2005. I started the business in 2003, and it was about 2005 that I began adding merchandise to my store. And I didn't like it, but I had to do it. My shirt's inside out. I had to do it because I couldn't make a living enough to support my family on the antiques alone. No, I don't have to do that. So I'm cutting to the chase. So I'm doing that now. I'm starting to do it again. I haven't done it yet. I'm tempted to add merchandise, just because it's an easy win. Adding merchandise to my online store will keep the business churning. In this case, I'm not after churning to pay their bills. I'm after the churn to keep me busy, right? Because every time the sale happens, my phone goes ka-ching, kind of, and it's kind of get a little dopamine hit. And that means that, okay, I got a ka-ching. That means whatever it is, I'm going to have to, get them, pack it, go to the post office, ship it, send out the emails, all that stuff. And that feels good. That keeps me busy. That keeps me away from feeling like I've got nothing but all this free time in my hands, which is not easy to deal with, actually. But if I do that, then I'm going right down that same avenue that I went down in 2005 by diluting my lovely boutique, Japanese antique boutique, with merchandise. I'm going to talk to Yumiko about it this morning during our dog walk, because she knows what I'm up to. It wasn't until last night that I really had that thought as I was going to bed that I don't want to be a merchandiser. I want to be a boutique antique dealer, and I think that I want to avoid that. So then what do I do with the fact that people are contacting me and they're asking, because I send stuff. When people buy orders from my store, I include, for example, senbei rice crackers. And people really like it. And I've already been getting email from people saying, hey, where can I get the rice crackers? So they want to buy it. So I need a place. It'd be nice to have a place where I can include such things without deleting the boutique nature of my store. My initial idea was that eBay would be that place, that my fourth wall store, which links into YouTube, would be the boutique. I call it Softypapa Shelf. Maybe I should do that. And then the eBay store would be the merchandise. You see, to keep them separate. Maybe that's the right way to do it. I can have my cake and eat it too then, right? It's just that the eBay store looks so good. It really looks good. Okay, I need to talk to my wife about this. Because I do want to do that. I do want to, if I do include some really nice rice crackers in my order and people ask me where they can get it, I want to be able to say, well, here's a link to where you can get it. I've already done all the research. I've already done the research how to do the pricing, the shipping. Yesterday, in fact, that was what I was spending most of the time yesterday, because I was going down the merchandising path, was figuring out how to do the shipping for bulk orders. Like if someone buys not just one item, but multiple items, how I can reduce the shipping charges accordingly to make it reasonable for shipping. Okay, more thoughts need to be applied to this. So lately in this video, I've been going down more than just my meditation stuff. Let's go through comments. Hi, Michael. Hi, Tim. Good morning. Freedom, I think, has many different meanings to different people. I know for me, it's being able to do anything in life I want to do now instead of being told what to do. I hear you on that one. Okoyama Ray says, I feel you on the body falling apart. Was just clearing fields with a pole, hedge trimmer. Need to find a tractor. Yeah, it's, my body is unforgiving. This has happened so many times now that I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's like having a school mistress slapping you down for being naughty. Okay, before I came to Japan, and this started about age 57, so it's not that it's new since I'm coming to Japan. It's just that it's increasing. It's faster. So what I would do is I would have this in the desert. When I lived in the desert, I had this 5-mile walking course that I would do every day. And out there I had set up places for rocks, to lift heavy rocks. And I did the same thing here down at the river. I put river rocks, and I go down to the river like once or twice a day to take a swim, to cool off from this heat, and I lift the rocks. In the States, I could do my usual course, and then I could add some to it, and my body would push back a little bit, say, you did a little too much. Here, if I do just a little bit too much, or if I walk just a little bit more, and I walk a lot, if I walk a little bit more than I normally should, my body slaps me down. It says, you're done, Kurt. You can't do this stuff. I just get this deep fatigue, and I just I don't feel good. And this is new. This is relatively new to have like this. It's like this limit that I can't go over anymore. Same thing if I go out in the yard, and if I work too much in the yard, same thing happens. Maybe it's just a consequence of getting old. Tim says, thought of your giant hornets today, Kurt, as I actually got stung this morning by a hornet. Wondered if you had been stung there in Japan. I don't think British hornets are as bad for their sting. I haven't been stung. I'm sorry to hear that you got stung, Tim. I haven't, and I hope you're all right. I haven't been stung yet, but I've had lots of close encounters, particularly with the Japanese giant hornet, that I've been chased by them, and I get at least once a day, a hornet will come here in the balcony and swoop around. Yesterday, I was standing exactly here doing photography for a listing, and a giant hornet came swooping in and ran into my face. And then, they make that deep droning sound, and off it went. So I'm sorry you got stung. I haven't been stung yet. But all the local old men here that I talk about the hornets, they're very scared of the things. Crypto Airy, too obsessed with death. Well, you're right. There can be, it can become an obsession. With me, it's more like a memento mori moment, right? To remember it's coming so that I can prepare to be ready for it. Tim says, the hornets here are about 2 to 3 times the size of the wasps, about 1 inch long, so easily identifiable. Interesting. I've heard that in Europe there's some massive ones. I wonder if they're the same ones that you have there as well. I think that the range of the giant, the Asian giant hornet goes all the way into like the Ural Mountains, and just on the western edge of the Ural Mountains or something like that. I don't know. Okayama Ray says, luckily haven't been stung by a hornet yet, but wasps got me in the field. Also saw a mukade and a beautiful rat snake. Wow. I've seen a couple of snakes this week, and saw a tiny little mukade yesterday. I know the big ones are out there. Tim says, I did look up Asian hornets today, Ray, and their sting can be pretty nasty. Our British hornets not so bad. Tim says, humidity and heat makes a big difference for me and aging. Good point, Tim. I'm glad you brought that up. Maybe that's part of it. You know what? That's part of it too. I'm really glad you brought that up. The last couple of nights, every night we walk after dinner. We take the dogs out and we walk with we walk down to sister-in-law Yoko's house, pick her up, and then the 3 adults and the 2 dogs, we go on that's our longest walk of the day. A long circuitous walk through the community. And I just haven't been able to join them for the whole walk. I have to peel off midway through. It's just too long for me. And I know it's the heat and the humidity. I'm glad I need to remember that, because I sometimes misattribute that to my age when it's really just the heat and the humidity. Thanks for pointing that out. Tim says, okay, now thanks. Just used an ice pack on it to calm the sting area down. Tim, all right. Glad to hear that. Glad to hear you're okay and that the pain is subsiding. And by the way, Tim, your package is on its way. All right, we got through the comments. I think I covered everything else. Tim adds, my stamina really takes a nosedive when the heat kicks in. I'm glad that you pointed this out, because that's exactly what I'm feeling too. The stamina, the resistance, I kind of feel like I feel a little ill. And that's not my age, right? That's not our age, Tim. That's right. That's just the fact of, I mean, our age probably compounds it, perhaps. But I'm glad you pointed that out. I need to remember that every day. It's not always because I'm old. It's not always because I'm winding down, so to speak. It's also because that's just what happens with this, especially since I haven't lived in this. This is my first summer back in 10 years, you know, more than that. All right, I'll wind up for today and start on the photography and get over to do my radio exercise and talk to my wife and get her sage advice about what to do with my store. To merchandise or not to merchandise? That is the question. All right, wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Thanks, Tim. Take care. Oh, can I add one more thing? If you guys haven't already, check out Gaijin Otosan. He's another YouTuber here in Japan. He made a video yesterday about him walking around by his local onsen. Gaijin Otosan is his name. Martin is his name. He just lives over a couple rivers over from where I live here. And he's back in Japan. He's been away from Japan. And he made a video yesterday. And he said some profound things. It was him just wandering around with the camera by the onsen near his house. And I was like, damn it. He's summarized the experience of a foreigner living in Japan in a way that I don't know if I could do. He nailed it in some ways. Very good. Check him out, Gaijin Otosan, Martin. Take care.